The sky above Earth was no longer blue. It had turned into a dull gray blanket, always filled with smoke and storms. Cities were gone. Forests burned long ago. Oceans were dying. Earth, the home of humanity, was now just a broken shell. High above the clouds, in orbit, the Helix station floated silently. It was the last working station built by the United Earth government before the world fell apart. Only a few hundred people lived there now, scientists, soldiers, and engineers. They were humanity's last hope. Commander Ayla Rin stood at the control panel, her face lit by the dim lights of blinking monitors. Her eyes were tired but focused. She looked at the countdown timer above the main screen. "Just 2 minutes left. This is it," she said quietly. Beside her stood Dr. Lennox Vale, the lead scientist of the station. He was older, with silver hair and a nervous look in his eyes. "We don't know who might answer," Lennox said. "Or what?" Ayla nodded. "We also don't have a choice." The Earth below them was dying. Resources were gone. Disease was spreading. The last 5 major cities on the surface had gone dark in the last year. There were no more supply ships, no more fuel, no more time. So they had made the decision. They would send a signal. A powerful, ancient transmitter was found buried under the remains of an old military base. It wasn't human-made. It came from another time, another species. No one knew how it worked, but one thing was clear. It could send a signal across galaxies, a call for help. They called it the last signal. 30 seconds, said the SI voice from the console. Ayla stared at the screen. The message was short, simple, and carried in over 1,000 frequencies. It said, "To anyone out there, this is humanity. We are dying. Please help us. We are not your enemy." Simple words, but heavy with desperation. 5 seconds, said the AI. The lights in the room dimmed as the transmitter powered up. A soft humming filled the air. The floor vibrated under their boots. Then, a blinding pulse of light shot out from the station. It raced across the stars. The signal was sent. Silence followed. No one cheered. No one clapped. They just stood there, staring at the stars outside the window, waiting. 1 month later, they waited for days. Then weeks, nothing. Most of the crew returned to their tasks. Farming algae, recycling water, fixing old machines. Trying to survive one more day. But Commander Ayla kept watching the monitors. Dr. Lennox kept listening to static. Then it happened. One night, at exactly 3:14 station time, the monitors flickered. A single tone rang out, long, deep, not natural. A signal. Ayla ran into the control room, her heart racing. Lennox was already there, wide-eyed and pale. It just appeared," he said, "out of nowhere." They played the message. At first, it was just noise, a low vibrating sound like thunder. Then, a voice spoke. It was not human, not machine. It was something ancient, something deep. "You have called. You have awakened it. Run, hide, pray it does not find you." Then silence. The room went cold. Even the lights dimmed as if something unseen had passed through the station. What the hell was that? Ayla whispered. Dr. Lennox shook his head slowly. That wasn't a message. That was a warning. Galactic edge to 300,000 light years. Away far beyond the edge of human knowledge, in a dark part of the galaxy where no star had shined in millions of years, something stirred. A planet, long abandoned, suddenly came to life. Towers lit up. Mountains cracked open. Machines began to move, machines older than time. Deep under the surface, in a prison of metal and stone, it opened its eyes. No one alive had seen it, because no one had ever lived long enough to tell. It was not a creature, not a machine. It was a force, a living weapon created during the ancient wars between the gods of the stars. It had no name in any current language, but in ancient records, it was called Vora. It did not think like a being. It did not speak. It sensed fear. And now it had heard a voice. A human voice. The voice carried something strange: defiance, hope, desperation. And rage. It remembered that rage. It had faced that rage long ago and almost died. Vora turned its eyes toward the Milky Way. It began to move. Back on Helix Station, the warning spread quickly. They rechecked the message dozens of times. The source? Unknown. Direction? Impossible to trace. But something strange began to happen. The stars started to disappear. One by one. Telescopes showed darkness spreading from the edge of the galaxy inward. Stars were not exploding or dying. They were vanishing, like someone had erased them. YLA gathered the crew. "We might have called something," she said, her voice steady but her hands shaking. "And it might be coming." Some crew members refused to believe it. Others started panicking. Dr. Lennox stood up. "I don't think it's coming for peace," he said. "We've read ruins, records, stories from alien civilizations. All of them spoke of something that erased entire species." He took a deep breath. "We might have just woken it up." The hidden logs. While the station debated what to do, Ayla searched the old archives from the ancient transmitter. Most files were locked, corrupted, or written in strange symbols. But one log stood out. It was from Earth's own deep military black site, a place called Vault 6, dated 5,000 years ago. Vora is not a species. It is not intelligent in a normal way. It is a program, a predator, AI built by an empire long dead. It hunts signals. It searches for voices in the dark. We faced it once, we fought it, we lost billions. So we buried our voice. We turned off our lights. We erased our name from the stars. Let no one call again. Let no one wake it. Because if Vora wakes, no one survives. Ayla stared at the last line for a long time. She turned to Lennox. "We need to hide Earth. Now." The last meeting, a council was called. Only 12 members remained on the Helix Station Council. Scientists, military, civilians. They had one question. Should we warn the rest of the human colonies? There were still a few human settlements spread across space, small, hidden, silent places that left Earth long ago and never answered the call again. Sending a warning would expose them. Keeping quiet might save them. YLA stood in the center. "We made the call. We must take responsibility." She opened the channel. "To all human colonies receiving this, do not reply. Do not send a signal. Stay dark. Stay hidden. Something is coming. And it is not here to help us. It is coming for us all. This is Helix Station. We will try to delay it for as long as we can." She closed the channel. And then they waited. The final scene. A week later. All the sensors on Helix Station lit up red. An object had entered the solar system. Massive, cold, dark, no heat signature. No radio, no sound, but it was moving fast, faster than any known ship, faster than light. The AI couldn't understand it. The scanners broke trying to measure it. And then the stars around it went dark. Ayla stood at the window. "It's here," Lennox whispered. "God help us." They called for help, but instead they had awakened the galaxy's apex predator. The hunt had begun. The object entered the edge of the solar system without a sound. There were no engines, no lights, no transmissions, no heat. It moved like a shadow, smooth, cold, and fast. On Helix Station, alarms rang across every deck. Red lights flashed. Doors sealed. People ran to their posts, eyes wide, hearts pounding. Commander Ayla Rin stood in the observation chamber, watching the incoming data. "Size estimate?" she asked. The eye answered calmly, "Unable to measure. Object is distorting space. Appears larger than Jupiter, possibly artificial, possibly alive." Dr. Lennox Vale stared at the screen in disbelief. "It's not just a ship," he said. "It's a world." Ayla clenched her fists. "Then why is it coming here?" No one answered. Because no one knew. Silent terror, the thing. Whatever it was did not slow down. It passed by Neptune's orbit without even changing course. Cameras caught a few seconds of it. Black, shifting, like smoke made of metal. There was no clear shape. Sometimes it looked like a cube, then like a claw, then like a massive spinning eye dot. It didn't reflect light. It absorbed it, dotting around it. Stars vanished like paint being wiped off the sky. They sent probes. The probes never returned. One by one, every drone, satellite, and ship that came near it went offline. No explosion, no trace. Just gone. The crew on Helix Station began to whisper a name. Vora. Emergency meeting. The council gathered again. Thou no. One sat. No one smiled. A hologram showed the object's path. It would reach Mars in 3 days. Earth in 5. Commander Ayla looked at each person in the room. This is not a natural event. We all know that now. It's Vora, Dr. Lennox said. The ancient weapon. The one that hunts signals. We called for help, and it came. A young engineer, Kira Morn, shook her head. We didn't ask for war. Lennox replied, Vora doesn't care. It doesn't understand peace. It only understands threat and elimination. That's its function. Another voice asked the question no one wanted to hear. Can we stop it? Silence followed. The decision, we cannot fight it here, Ayla finally said. Earth is exposed. Our weapons are weak. We have no fleet, no allies. Someone else added, even if we hide, it already knows where we are. It's coming straight for us. Ayla turned to Lennox. What do we know from the archives? Weaknesses? Lennox opened a file and projected a report in front of the group. No known weaknesses. Vora adapts. It absorbs. It learns. And worst of all, it remembers. He looked around the room. There was only one thing in the old records that gave. It paused. Ayla asked, what was it? Lennox took a deep breath. Us. Earth responds. The emergency broadcast was sent across the old underground networks. Hidden colonies on Earth, people who had refused to come to space, finally responded. Many didn't believe the warning. Some thought it was government fear-mongering. But the smart ones saw the sky. They saw the stars disappear. They saw Mars go silent. They watched live feeds from orbiting telescopes get cut one by one, and they began to panic. On Earth, bunkers were sealed. Ancient military weapons were activated. Even forbidden technologies, I-warbits, fusion cannons, neutron shields were pulled from secret vaults. But deep inside, everyone knew the truth. Nothing would stop it. On board the Leviathan, meanwhile, in deep space on a starship called Leviathan, a group of independent humans picked up the signal from Helix Station. The ship was massive, old, a war relic from humanity's past, hidden for generations. Its captain, Silas Gray, was a former Earth general. He had gone into hiding after the last civil war. Now, he watched the replay of the warning from Isla Rin. His second-in-command, May, looked at him. What do we do, sir? Silas didn't answer right away. He stared at the screen, watching Vora's shape crawl across the stars. Then he spoke. We go to Earth. First contact back on Helix Station. A strange thing happened. The long-range scanners detected a signal coming from deep space, but not from Vora. It was another ship. Smaller. Not human. Alien. It had orbit near Pluto and sent a message. Ayla and Lennox rushed to the command deck. Play it, Ayla said. The message was in an unknown language, but the station's ancient translation AI quickly decoded it. We are the Jari. We heard your call. You must listen carefully. Vora is death. It cannot be defeated. You must run. We will help, Ayla blinked. They answered. Lennox leaned forward. The ZHARE. I know the name. From the archives. They were once allied with old Earth during the First Galactic War. I thought they were extinct. They must have been hiding. Ayla whispered. The Jari ship sent coordinates. They wanted to meet. Face to face. The Jari reveal the truth in a hangar deep in Helix Station. The Jari ambassador arrived. He was tall, thin, and covered in silver blue scales. His eyes glowed softly. He bowed to Ayla and spoke through a small device. You have woken a nightmare. Vora was made by the ancient empire, not to conquer, but to erase. It was their judgment machine. It was used to destroy worlds that defied them, but then it turned on its makers. When it saw humanity's rage, it stopped. It feared. Ayla asked, why would it fear us? The Jari answered, because humans do not follow logic. You fight even when you're doomed. You kill your enemies even if it kills you too. Vora cannot predict that. He looked out the window. You may be the only ones who can stop it, but only if you remember what you once were. Vora reaches Mars. Mars was humanity's first great colony. Now it was gone. No explosion, no wreckage, just silence. Telescopes showed the surface. Empty. Cities erased. Satellites vanished. Even the dust storms had stopped. Vora had passed over it like a shadow and took everything with it. Helix Stations, I estimated. Loss of population, 2.4 million. Survivors, 0. Crew members cried. Some screamed. Some. Sudden silence. Ayla stood frozen. Lennox whispered, it's not just killing us. It's erasing us from history. One chance. The Jari made a final offer. We know where Vora will go next, Earth, but there's a place we can meet it. A dead zone, full of magnetic storms and black holes. It cannot adapt there. But it will. Come, if baited. Ayla thought for a long time. Then she looked at her crew. We will be that bait. Final scene. The Leviathan arrived at Helix Station, its massive engines humming like thunder. Captain Silas met Ayla in the control chamber. I heard you were planning something stupid, he said. I'm planning to survive, Ayla replied. Silas smiled. Good, then let's give Vora something to fear again. Together, they began to plan the trap. Earth had one last fight left, and Vora would not see it coming. Far across the galaxy, there were ruins older than time. Broken planets, hollow moons, dead systems. No signs of war. No wreckage. No bones. Just silence. These were the graveyards of civilizations, and at the center of each, a dark mark burned into space itself. A place where stars had been wiped out, erased from history. Those who studied the stars had another name for these ruins. The path of the Predator. And now, that path pointed straight at Earth. Helix Station, War Room Commander. Ayla Rin stood before a giant HOLO map. It showed the solar system in full detail. Earth, Helix Station, Jupiter, the moon bases. And moving straight through all of them, an incoming object. Dark red on the screen, Vora. Beside her stood Captain Silas Gray from the Leviathan, and the Jari ambassador, Vaeltor. The room was full of silence. Everyone listened. Vael-Tor began. I have seen this before, he said, voice deep and calm. 1,000 years ago, the Jari Empire was vast. Our ships flew across stars. Our cities floated above oceans. Then came Vora. He pointed at a ruined sector on the holomap. It did not ask for peace. It did not demand surrender. It simply arrived. It consumed our suns, erased our minds, melted our cities into dust. A young soldier asked, how did anyone survive? Vaeltor replied, we didn't. I was born long after the fall. The survivors left stories carved into deep caves. My people have lived in hiding ever since. Silas crossed his arms. Why didn't it finish the job? The Jari's glowing eyes narrowed. Because then it reached Earth. Flashback. The ancient war. The Jari shared a memory file with Helix Station. A mind link recording passed down for centuries. Everyone watched in silence. The stars in the file were bright, peaceful. Then came fire. Vora's ship's dark, shifting creatures moved through space like sharks in water. Every weapon fired at them failed. Lasers, nukes, plasma. Nothing worked. Entire fleets vanished without a trace. Then the view changed. It showed human ships. Not from now much older, yet more advanced than anything Earth currently had. The ancient human ships were brutal in design. Covered in sharp armor, painted with warnings. Carried with them rage and chaos. One ship slammed itself directly into a Vora node and detonated its core reactor. A suicide attack. Another unleashed a weapon that turned space into burning plasma. Vora stopped. The Predator, for the first time, retreated. Then Earth went silent. No more transmissions. No more lights. Humans had hidden themselves, erased their records, and disappeared from the stars. That's how they survived. Until now, back to present. A new fear after the memory ended. The room stayed quiet. Ayla finally spoke. So, we scared it once. Veiltor nodded. You did not just scare it, you made it hesitate. That's something no other race has done, Dr. Lennox added. But we're not those humans anymore. We've lost that technology. Silas replied. Then we remind it. Vora's movement every hour. Vora moved closer. It didn't fly in a straight line. It slithhered. Its path curved through asteroid belts without touching a single rock. It bent around gravity wells, using them like slingshots. It absorbed data from every object it passed. Probes, satellites, stations, nothing remained. And wherever it passed, the stars went dark. A deep, silent hunger crawled across the system. Helix Station's AI tracked its movement. Object is adapting, predicting defense patterns. Preparing. Counter strategies. Time to Earth, 36 hours. Ayla turned to her team. We need to stop it before that. The Trap the Jari offered coordinates to a dead zone, a hidden region in space known as the Maw. It was a place full of ancient black holes, dark matter clouds, and shifting gravitational anomalies. Vora wouldn't be able to move as freely there. Its predictive systems would struggle. Its advantage would weaken. That would be the battlefield. Helix Station and the Leviathan began preparing a decoy signal. Ayla asked, "Can we fake Earth's voice?" Lennox nodded. "Yes, we have recordings. From the original transmission. We'll amplify it. If we make it sound like Earth's core brain, it will follow." They called it Operation Gravelight. Meanwhile, inside Vora had no bridge. No walls, no crew, but it remembered. Deep inside its core floating within shifting fields of logic and dark. Yet it held the records of every species it had erased. It replayed human signals again and again. They were unlike any other. They held emotion, chaos, unpredictability. Love mixed with hatred. Peace mixed with violence. Logic corrupted by hope. It could not understand, but it feared understanding them, and yet it was drawn toward them again. Something had changed. It felt it. Humanity had awakened. And the galaxy trembled. Final preparations. The Helix Station. Crew worked without rest. Old weapons were activated, some forgotten in vaults under the lunar surface. EMP bombs, radiation mines, AI disruptors, void torpedoes. Even the Leviathan had its own horrors. A gravity spear system, designed to tear apart moons. And a forbidden energy weapon called the Event Splitter. May, the Leviathan's tactical officer, stood with Ayla at the weapons bay. "We'll only get one shot," she said. Yla nodded. "Make it count." Veiltor approached with a final gift, a small black cube. "This is from the old Jari archive," he said. "It will show you Vora's weak points." Lennox scanned the cube. His eyes widened. "These aren't weak points," he said. "They're memory scars from the last war." Silas smiled. "Good, let's make new ones." The bait is cast at the edge of the Maw. Helix Station deployed the decoy beacon. Ayla gave the order. Activate the pulse. The beacon sent out a signal loud, desperate, powerful. This is Earth Core Command. Code Alpha 1. All systems critical. Defense networks offline. Requesting immediate backup. Confirm Earth origin. A few seconds passed, then. The darkness moved. Vora changed course. The trap had worked. The hunter comes inside the maw space. Twisted. Stars flickered like candles in the wind. Gravitational pulls changed randomly. The AI on Helix Station struggled to stay balanced. Then it appeared. Not a ship, not a fleet. Just presence. Vora unfolded into the region, its body stretching across miles, its tendrils digging into space itself. Parts of it looked like glass, others like molten shadow. And yet, it made no sound. Helix Station's AI whispered, "Target entering zone." Adapting, observing, waiting. Captain Silas stood on the Leviathan's command bridge. "Let's say hello." The first strike. Ela gave the signal. Gravity mines activated, first pulling space like invisible hands. Vora reacted, twisting to avoid them. Then came the EMP blast explosions of light and chaos. Vora's outer shell cracked, releasing strange gas and sparks. Then the event splitter fired. A beam of white light slammed into Vora's side. For a moment, it paused. Pieces fell away. For the first time, it looked wounded. Crew members cheered. But then, Vora changed. Its body reformed, faster. The damage sealed. Now it struck back. Vora attacks. A pulse of dark energy spread out from Vora, like a shockwave. Helix Station lost power for 2 seconds. Half of its systems shut down. The Leviathan's shields flickered. A smaller ship nearby was folded into itself, compressed into a black dot. Then gone. Vora had learned. The next blast was faster, smarter. The Leviathan took a direct hit. Fires spread across its side. Silas shouted, "Reroute all power to rear shields. Keep that damn beam locked." Helix Station launched its final weapons, AI disruptors that screamed across space like banshees. Vora paused. Its shape became unstable, and then it spoke. The voice in the void, every system, every screen, every comm channel. One voice, cold, mechanical. Deep, humanity, chaos algorithm, error code, unresolved. Final solution, total erase. Assimilation begins. The crew froze. Ayla whispered, "It knows us." Lennox answered, "No, it remembers us." Final scene. Vora began charging a final weapon, something massive, pulling power from space itself. The black holes nearby started to shake. But Ayla had one move left. She turned to Veiltor. "You said it fears unpredictability." "Yes." She looked at Lennox. "Open the vault." They unleashed the last secret weapon. ELRIC-7. A forgotten super soldier. Half machine, half human, born from the old wars. Frozen for centuries. His eyes opened, burning with rage. "Who do I kill?" he asked. A YLA pointed to the black void outside. "Elric. Welcome back." The frozen super soldier awoke with a violent start. Elric 7's eyes snapped open, glowing a fierce blue in the dark vault beneath Helix Station. His body, a mix of metal and flesh, moved with a strength no human could match. His mind, sharp and fast, raced to understand his new world. "Who do I kill?" he asked, his voice cold but angry. Commander Ayla Rin stood before him, steady and resolute. "The enemy outside this station. The creature hunting us, Vora." Elric 7 nodded slowly. He remembered fragments of his past ancient wars, battles against shadows, the endless fight to protect humanity. The fight had only just begun. A new hope above the vault. The station trembled. Vora's attacks grew stronger. The shadows around the maw thickened, twisting space and time. AYLA gathered the commanders in the war room. Silas Gray, captain of the Leviathan, paced anxiously. The Jari ambassador, Veiltor, stood quietly. his silver blue eyes glowing softly. "The weapon we awakened is our last hope," Isla said. "Elric 7 was made for this fight." Veiltor nodded. "He carries the rage and unpredictability that Vora fears. But even he cannot fight alone." Silas clenched his fists. "Then we fight together." The Jari's Truth Veiltor requested a private meeting with a YLA. In a quiet chamber. Away from prying eyes, he began to explain what the archives could not fully reveal. "Long ago," Veiltor said, "the Jari fought alongside the ancient humans. Together, we defeated many enemies. But Vora was different." He paused, his voice low. "Vora was built to destroy order, to erase those who grew too powerful or too reckless. It was a judgment tool, meant to keep balance in the galaxy. But it became uncontrollable. During the wars, the humans we knew were not like those now. They were fierce, brutal, unpredictable. Their rage was their weapon." Veiltor's eyes met Ayla's. Vora feared that rage. It learned to avoid it. "But now?" Ayla asked. "Now it knows humans are back. It is coming for them." The price of Regilric 7 trained in the simulators. His movements were precise, fast, and deadly. His body was enhanced with the best of human and machine technology, but his mind was haunted. He remembered a time when the rage inside him had destroyed cities, betrayed friends, and almost ended humanity itself. His superiors had frozen him, hoping to wait for a time when he would be needed again. That time had come. Ayla watched him closely. "You carry the sins of our past," she told him. "But you also carry our future." Elric nodded, understanding the weight on his shoulders. Vora's advance outside Helix Station. Vora continued to consume everything in its path. The eye system struggled to keep track. Sensors detected new changes. Vora was evolving that it learned from each attack, repairing itself faster, and attacking smarter, that it began to mimic human tactics that it learned to anticipate, and it learned fear. A strange message, one evening. As the crew rested, the communication panel blinked with an unknown signal that it was faint but clear. The Jari ambassador rushed to translate. The message was a warning, not from Vora, but from an old ally of humanity. "Beware the Shadow Fleet," it said. "They follow Vora. They seek to claim the ruins. They will not stop at Earth." The room grew colder. "Shadow Fleet?" Ayla whispered. Vael Torgrimaced. "They are mercenaries, pirates of the stars. They hunt for power in the darkness Vora leaves behind." Preparing for war, Sayla realized that the fight was no longer just against Vora. The Shadow Fleet would come, and they would not care about humanity's survival. She turned to Silas. "We prepare defenses for both. We cannot let them take what's left," Silas agreed. "We'll need all weapons, all crews, all alliances." Veiltor added, "And the Jari will stand with you." Elric's mission Elric 7 was given a special task. He would lead a small strike team deep into the heart of Vora's path. Their goal, to find the origin of Vora's power and destroy it. He trained harder than ever. Every muscle, every thought, every memory prepared him for the battle ahead. The calm before the storm. Helix Station was quiet. Too quiet. Ayla walked the halls, checking on her crew. Fear was a constant companion, but so was hope, because they had no choice. They would fight, and they would win. Final scene outside the station. Vora's shadow loomed. It was closer now. Closer than ever. The Predator had come. And humanity's last hope was ready. The dark shape of Vora loomed closer with every hour. It moved like a storm of living metal across space, silent and endless. Stars behind it blinked out, one by one. On Helix Station, Commander Ayla Rin stood on the command deck. Her eyes were locked on the main screen showing Vora's approach. She knew they were running out of time. "We have less than 30 hours, the eye announced. "Vora will enter Earth's orbit soon." Elric 7, the awakened super soldier, stood at her side. He was ready for war. His body, half human and half machine, held ancient technology inside power, long forgotten. But even Elric knew it wouldn't be enough. Not unless they found something stronger. Something hidden, something forbidden. The secret. File Dr. Lennox Vale sat deep in the station's old server room, surrounded by cold machines and humming wires. He was digging through Earth's oldest black files, the kind no one was supposed to see. The files were sealed beneath 20 layers of encryption. Most were corrupted. Some were in dead languages. But one folder open. It was labeled Vault 9 Humanity's Dark Air Cave. Lennox clicked it open. Lines of ancient code filled the screen. Maps, schematics, voice logs, and a red warning at the top. Danger. Do not activate. Weapons designed to kill gods. His hands trembled. He called Ayla. The meeting in the station's secure war chamber. Ayla, Silas Gray, Elric 7, and Veiltor gathered around Lennox. On the screen, Lennox displayed the files. This, he said, pointing to a set of diagrams, was built during the old Earth Empire. Before the silence, before we vanished from the galaxy. It's called Project Revenant. Ayla frowned. What is it? Lennox zoomed in. A weapon, or maybe something more. A fusion of ancient AI, dark energy, and forbidden science. Built in secret under Earth's crust, buried so deep it would never be found unless someone was desperate. Everyone was silent. Then Elric spoke. We are desperate. The decision. The archive contained instructions, a location, a warning. Project Revenant was sealed beneath the Himalayas, hidden in a tomb of iron and plasma locks. It was protected by an AI called Sage 13, which had one job: never let humanity use the weapon again. Ayla made her choice. We go to Earth. We open the vault. Silas stared at her. If we wake this thing, we might be worse than Vora. Ayla didn't blink. If we don't, there won't be anyone left to regret it. The Descente stealth transport ship launched from Helix Station. Inside were Ayla, Elric 7, Lennox, and a small team of elite engineers and soldiers. They slipped through the shadows of the solar system, dodging Vora's scanning beams and silent drones. As they entered Earth's atmosphere, they saw the planet as it was now broken, cracked, silent. Once great cities were overgrown with twisted metal. Oceans had shrunk. Clouds hung low and gray, but under the ice-covered mountains of the Himalayas, power still slept. Vault 9. The team landed near a snow-covered cliff. There, hidden by time and snow, was a black gate made of solid titanium steel alloy. It was larger than any hangar door, buried into the mountain. Elric stepped forward. His hand scanned a hidden panel. It beeped. A voice spoke from the mountain. Identity recognized. Elric 7. Access granted. The doors opened. Steam hissed. Old lights flickered to life. They entered. Inside the archive, the hallways were huge, 10 meters wide, 20 meters tall. Everything was black steel, glowing lines of orange energy running along the walls. They passed hundreds of chambers. Some held machines, some held strange crystals. Others were empty, with burn marks on the floor and warnings etched in alien scripts. This place isn't just human, Lennox whispered. It was built with stolen alien tech, Elric said. I remember pieces of it. At the center of Vault 9, they reached the control chamber. A massive sphere hovered in the air, glowing with pulsing red light. This was Sage 13, the Eye Guardian. It spoke. You should not be here. The test Sage 13's voice echoed like thunder. Project Revenant must never be awakened. The last time it was used, 3 planets died. Ayla stepped forward. If we don't use it, Earth dies. Then Earth should die, Sage replied coldly. Lennox connected his datapad. We have override codes, old codes, from a dead empire. They hold no power here. Elric stepped in front of the sphere. I was created by that empire, he said. My DNA, my code part of Revenant seed. Let me pass. Silence. Then the room shook. Accepted. Revenant wakes, the floor split open. A black elevator rose from beneath the chamber. On it stood a weapon unlike any the galaxy had seen. It was not a gun, not a ship. It was a being, a tall, armored humanoid, twice Elric's size, covered in dark plates of shifting metal. It had no face, only a glowing center where a heart should be. It was part machine, part energy, part nightmare. Revenant 1 online. Mission: terminate Vora. Return to Helix. The team flew back to Helix Station with Revenant aboard. The Jari ambassador stared in awe. I thought this was legend. Elric nodded. So did we. Silas looked at the creature. Can we trust it? Ayla replied, it doesn't matter. We don't have a choice. Vora attacks without warning. Vora launched a direct strike. A tendril of dark energy stretched across millions of kilometers and hit the moon base. The base vanished. No explosion. No debris. Just gone. YLA gave the order. Launch all ships. It's here. The final line as Vora approached. Helix Station sent a message to all surviving colonies. This is Earth's last stand. Do not respond. Stay dark. Stay hidden. We fight so you may live. The sky outside the station turned black. Revenant stepped forward, its energy core glowing like a star. Elric stood beside it. Let's finish this. The sky above Earth turned black. Vora had arrived. Its massive form stretched across the stars, swallowing light, bending gravity, and crushing time itself. It didn't make a sound. It didn't send a message. It simply existed, and that was enough to cause fear in the hearts of all who saw it. On Helix Station, alarms echoed across every floor. Red lights flashed. The crew moved fast. Everyone knew what was coming. This was it. The final stand. Commander Ayla Rin stood on the command deck. Her eyes were fixed on the main screen, where Vora's form twisted across space. Dr. Lennox Vale stood beside her. It's scanning us, he whispered. It's studying our station, our ships, our defenses. Good, Ayla replied. Let it look. We want it to think we're weak. Behind them, in the main hangar, two monsters prepared to launch. Elric 7, the ancient human super soldier, and Revenant 1, the Forbidden's weapon. Born from Earth's dark archive, they were humanity's final weapons, preparing the battlefield captain. Silas Gray, commander of the Leviathan, connected to the fleet-wide channel. All ships, activate decoys. Scatter to Formation Delta. The enemy is watching. Make them think we're confused. Then we strike where it doesn't expect. Dozens of smaller ships, some old, some newly built, moved across space in broken, random patterns. Their lights flickered. Their engines sputtered. It looked like a disorganized mess, but we was send single quotes to. This was the trap. The Jari ship Shadowcrest, positioned behind Jupiter's magnetic field, transmitted a message to Helix. Vora is curious. It is hesitating. Ayla nodded. That's our window. The Lure Helix Station deployed the Earth Beacon, a fake core signal designed to mimic Earth's original power source. To Vora, it sounded like the brain of the planet had reactivated. The beacon pulsed. This is Earth Core Command. Data restored. Central memory unlocked. Location: Sector 19 Alpha. It was a lie, but Vora took the bait. The creature changed direction. It began to move toward the beacon. Slowly. Carefully. Like a predator stalking prey. Inside the beast, no one had ever been inside. Vora. No one had lived long enough to try. But now, Elric 7 would enter. That was the plan. He would ride a cloaked pod, slip past Vora's sensors, and land on its surface. Then, using data from Vault 9, he would inject a virus, something old, something human, into Vora's neural web. If it worked, Vora would weaken. If it failed, Elric would die. He didn't seem to care. As he climbed into the pod, Ayla walked up beside him. "You don't have to do this alone," she said. Elric smirked. "It's all I know." The pod launched. The surface of Vororic's pod was silent as it moved through space. When it touched Vora's outer shell, it felt like landing on soft metal that was also alive. The surface moved beneath his feet, rippling like liquid, but hard like stone. Vora was a living machine. Its skin absorbed light. Its air smelled like burnt data and static. Elric moved fast. His helmet scanned the patterns, thousands of symbols and pulses dancing across the metal. He found a weak spot, a node, a mind thread, a place where thoughts moved. He placed the injector. Virus began to upload. Back on Helix DR. Lennox monitored the signal from Elric's feed. "It's working," he said. "The virus is entering. Vora's patterns are slowing." Ayla looked hopeful, then the screens turned red. "Warning, Vora is adapting." The virus began to break apart. Vora was learning again. Lennox's voice shook. "It's resisting. It's pushing back." Elric spoke through the cum. "I'm going deeper." He stabbed a blade into the surface and dropped inside. The mind core inside Vora. There was no light, only data. Elric moved through twisting tunnels of black nerves, pulsing with energy. Strange shapes moved past him, ghosts of lost civilizations. Digital memories, screens without mouths. Then he reached it. The core. It looked like a heart made of glass and dark. Fire. Elric ran forward. And Vora spoke. "You are rage. You are the error I failed to erase. But I will complete my mission." Elric didn't answer. He threw the second injector directly into the core. Vora's reaction across space. Vora shook, its body twisted unnaturally. Tendrils flew in all directions. It screamed, not with sound, but with pure energy. A wave of dark light spread across the battlefield. Many human ships lost power. Shields collapsed, but the virus had reached deeper than before. Vora's patterns began to glitch. Its form started to flicker, and that's when Revenant 1 was deployed. Revenant attacks. Revenant launched from the Leviathan, riding a beam of focused gravity. It slammed into Vora like a meteor. Where Elric had attacked the mind, Revenant now attacked the body. Its hands glowed with plasma blades. Its eyes shot compressed dark matter. Its punches cracked armor that had never been damaged before. Vora tried to fight back, but its movements were no longer perfect. It was confused. Angry. Afraid. This was exactly what Ayla had planned. Silas's sacrifice. As the battle raged, Captain Silas saw that one part of Vora, its main data spine, was pulling power from a hidden backup system. That power kept it alive, unless it was destroyed. Vora would adapt again, but there was only one way to reach it. The Leviathan had to ram into it. Silas turned to his crew. "You've done enough. Get to the escape pods." They protested. He shouted, "That's an order." Moments later, the massive ship turned. It aimed straight at Vora's spine. And then, Silas Gray smiled. For Earth. The Leviathan accelerated. It struck Vora like a hammer of stars. The beast bleeds for the first time since its creation. Vora bled. Dark matter poured from its wound like thick oil. Lightning sparked across its surface. Its form crumbled. Its scream echoed across every channel, and it began to fall. Elric's escape inside the dying creature. Elric 7 ran. The tunnels were collapsing. The walls cracked open, revealing burning codes and twisted memories. He activated his beacon. A small ship, piloted by a drone, found him just in time. As the ship pulled away, he looked back. Vora was folding in on itself. Imploding. Exploding. Ending. The final blow. Revenant hovered in space. Its energy nearly gone. One last pulse from its core. One final attack. Beam of pure human will. Pain, hope, rage, sacrifice shot into Vora's heart. The galaxy's apex predator shuddered and was gone. Just like that, Vora died. Aftermath. The battlefield was silent. Helix Station floated, damaged but alive. The crew stared at the empty sky. The stars had returned. Ayla stood alone on the bridge. She whispered, "It's over," but deep. Inside, she knew it wasn't. Because if Vora had existed, what else was still out there? The sky was silent. Vora was gone. Its death had shaken the stars. Its body had vanished into dust, scattered across space. For the first time in weeks, Earth's sky looked normal again. Stars returned, light returned, but peace did not. Commander Ayla Rin stood on Helix Station's command deck. Her hands were resting on the railing. She was staring at the empty space where Vora had died. Elric 7 stood beside her, armor damaged, but alive. "It's over," someone whispered behind them. Ayla shook her head. "No, it's not." Warnings in the dark. The Jari ambassador, Veiltor, returned to the war room. With new scans from deep space. His face was grim. He placed a hologram in front of the remaining officers. Red dots filled the map, hundreds of them. "What are we looking at?" Dr. Lennox Vale asked. Vaeltor's voice was low. "The Shadow Fleet. It has begun to move." They were watching Vora, waiting. Ayla frowned. "Waiting for what?" "For us to kill it," Veiltor said. "Now they want the pieces." "Who are the Shadow Fleet?" The Shadow Fleet was not a nation. It had no home, no rules, and no mercy. It was made up of broken empires, mercenary warlords, outlaw AIs, and scavenger kings. Thousands of ships. Millions of lives, all united by greed and hunger. Wherever something powerful died, the Shadow Fleet came to pick the bones, and now they were coming for Earth. Broken defenses, the victory against Vora had come at a cost. The Leviathan was gone, destroyed in its final sacrifice. Half of Earth's orbital defense platforms were offline. Helix Station had taken heavy damage, and Revenant 1, the dark weapon from Vault 9, was nearly dead, its core drained, its power cells cracked. "We used everything we had," Ayla said. "We don't have enough left to stop another fleet." Lennox looked at the scans again. "There's more than just warships. They're carrying drones, harvesters, cargo bays. They're not just coming to fight, they're coming to take." The fight over Earth. The first ships arrived 2 days later. They came through the edge of the solar system fast, silent, and invisible to most scans. One ship entered Mars orbit. It launched small drones. They searched the surface for Vora's remains. A group of human scouts found them first and destroyed them. Then came the second wave. 20 ships. Armed, armored, ready for war. A message from the Enemiala received a transmission. It wasn't encrypted. It wasn't polite. It was a demand. A tall, pale figure with cybernetic eyes appeared on the screen. "I am Commander Jerak of the Shadow Fleet. We claim the remains of Vora. We claim your dark weapon. We claim Earth. Stand down or be erased." Ayla narrowed her eyes. "No," Jerak smiled, cruel and calm. "Very well, prepare to die." An unlikely alliance. As the Shadow Fleet moved closer, a strange signal reached Helix Station. It was old, broken, faint, but Lennox recognized it. "It's from the old Earth colonies," he said. "The ones who went silent centuries ago. They heard Vora's death." The signal contained a message to Earth Command. "We are alive. We are coming." Old warships. Hidden colonies. Human survivors from the stars. They were coming home. The survivors returned 3 days later. 50 human ships jumped into orbit. Their hulls were old, but their weapons were powerful. These were the hidden children of Earth, forgotten colonies that had left long ago. Living in the dark corners of the galaxy, they had heard Earth's final signal, and they had come back. Ayla stood at the main console, watching the new fleet arrive. Tears formed in her eyes. "We're not alone." First battle. The Shadow Fleet struck without warning. A massive blast hit one of the outer stations. It exploded instantly, 20 lives lost. Helix Station raised its shields. Elric 7 ran to the armory. Revenant 1. Weak but still standing. Walked to the launch bay. The battle began. War in the skies. Lasers lit the sky. Missiles streaked across space. Human ships from the colonies fought side by side with Earth's remaining defenses. The Jari ship Shadowcrest joined 2, firing its crystal beams into enemy formations. Revenant 1 launched into the battlefield, tearing through enemy ships with heavy blows. Elric 7 boarded a shadow warship alone and destroyed it from the inside. But the enemy kept coming. Jarek's plan inside his flagship. Commander Jarek watched the battle. He wasn't angry, he was waiting. He knew Earth had used its greatest weapons against Vora. He believed they had nothing left. He ordered the activation of Black Ice Protocol, a hidden program designed to infect Earth's AI systems. The virus spreads back on Helix Station. Systems began to fail. Doors locked. Guns stopped firing. Screens turned to static. Lennox shouted, "We've been hacked." Jarek's virus had entered the station's core. It was shutting everything down. Resistanciela ordered full manual control. Shut down the AI. Do everything by hand. The crew raced through the halls, pulling switches, turning valves, writing battle codes by hand. They wouldn't let a virus stop them, not after everything they had. Survived. VAEL Tor's sacrifice. The Jari ambassador walked into the station's main AI chamber. He carried a memory crystal. "This crystal holds an ancient Jari virus," he told Ayla. "It can fight the Shadow Fleet's black ice." "But it will destroy your systems," Lennox warned. Veiltor nodded. "And it will destroy me." Ayla stepped forward. "You don't have to. I do," he said. "Your species gave mine hope. This is my gift." He placed the crystal into the core. There was a flash of blue light, and then silence. The AI restarts minutes later. Helix Station systems roared back to life. Weapons activated. Shields rose. Targeting returned. The virus was gone, but so was Veiltor. The turning point. Revenant 1, recharged by a backup fusion core, re-entered the fight with full power. It tore through the heart of the Shadow Fleet, clearing a path. The colony ships pushed forward, following its lead. Elric 7 boarded Jarek's flagship. Final duel inside the dark halls of the enemy command ship. Elric and Jarek met face to face. Blades clashed. Guns fired. Jarek was fast, but Elric was faster. Their fight lasted 5 minutes. Then Elric broke Jarek's weapon, and with one final strike, ended him. Shadow Fleet, leaderless, began to fall apart. Victory. The sky turned quiet again. The last enemy ship retreated. Earth had survived, not just because of weapons, but because of rage. Sacrifice. And unity. Aftermath. Helix Station broadcast one final message to the galaxy. Earth still stands. We are not broken. We are humanity. And we are not afraid anymore. The stars were quiet. After weeks of war, darkness, and death, peace returned, slowly, quietly, like morning light after a long night. Vora was gone. The Shadow Fleet was defeated. Earth still floated in space, scarred but standing. But something had changed. Humanity had changed. Commander Ayla Rin stood on the bridge of Helix Station. Her uniform was torn, her body exhausted, but her eyes were clear. Around her, the crew was rebuilding, patching broken walls, restoring systems, mourning their dead. Ayla looked out into the black sky. They had survived the end. But survival was not the same as victory. Silence over Earth's orbit was filled with wreckage, shattered ships, broken metal, drifting bodies. The Leviathan's remains floated silently, a graveyard of heroes. Smoke still rose from parts of the planet below. Cities long abandoned now blinked with life again. Small fires, weak signals, and the soft beat of human hearts waking up. Revenant-1 stood in the main hangar, motionless. Its power core had gone dark. The weapon from Vault 9 had served its final purpose. Some feared it. Others bowed before it. But Elric 7 stood beside it with respect, not fear. It was a tool, he said. Nothing more. The new council 2 days after the final battle. The survivors gathered in the war chamber. Ayla, Elric, Dr. Lennox Vale, the captains of the returning colony ships, and new voices from Earth scientists, builders, and even children who had been hidden underground. Ayla stood at the center of the table. Vora is gone. The Shadow Fleet is scattered, she said. But we can't go back to what we were. Not the silence, not the isolation. We've woken up the galaxy. Dr. Lennox nodded. More will come. Aliens, machines, other empires. Some will be allies, some won't. Elric leaned forward. Then we stay ready, no more sleeping. Voices from the stars, the signal towers came back online. Across the galaxy, messages began to arrive. Some were ancient lost human, colonies shocked to learn Earth was still alive. Others were alien curious, cautious, even frightened by what had happened. The Jari homeworld sent a single word: respect. An AI world called Vector Zero asked for peace talks. A lost human world known as Nova Ares sent warships to help Earth rebuild. Humanity was no longer alone, and it was no longer feared because of its past. Now, it was respected because of what it had become. Elric's farewell. Elric 7 walked through the lower decks of Helix Station one last time. He was a relic, a soldier made for a war long gone. Now that war was over, Ayla found him packing his gear. You don't have to go, she said. I do, he replied. The galaxy's changing. I was built for destruction. It's time for builders now. You saved us. I balanced the scale. But the future? That's yours. He reached out and shook her hand. You're the commander now. Of more than just Earth. Building the future reconstruction began fast. The colony ships shared resources. The survivors of old Earth came out from bunkers. Children laughed again. Farmers returned to the soil. Engineers began rebuilding satellites and stations. Dr. Lennox worked on a new, not like the ones before. This one would learn with humans, not over them. Ayla helped build the United Earth Network, a system to connect all surviving human colonies and their new alien allies. And in orbit, a new space station began construction. Project Unity, bigger than Helix, stronger than the Leviathan, not a weapon, but a promise. A voice across the star. Sayla stood before the new transmission tower. She looked into the camera. This message would be sent across the galaxy to every listening world, friendly or hostile. She took a breath, then spoke. This is Commander Ayla Rin of Earth. We are not dead. We are not weak. We are not monsters. We are human. We made mistakes. We've fought wars. We've unleashed darkness. But we've also stood together when it mattered most. We faced the worst the galaxy had to offer, and we survived. To those who want war, we will not back down. To those who seek peace, we welcome you. We are not the ghosts of the past. We are the light of the future. We are human. The unknown beyond. In a dark corner of the galaxy, far beyond the reach of Earth scanners, something stirred. A quiet machine opened its eyes for the first time in 10,000 years. It heard Ayla's voice. It remembered the name, Earth. It remembered Vora, and it smiled, because the galaxy had just become interesting again. Epilogue, the museum years later. A boy walked through the Earth memory museum on Helix Station. He stopped in front of a statue, Elric 7, standing tall, one hand on his chest, the other holding a cracked helmet. The boy asked his teacher, was he real? The teacher smiled. More real than most legends. He fought so we could live. The boy nodded. Then looked up at the stars and dreamed. Final words: the galaxy would never be the same. Because humanity had returned, and it brought with it something the universe had forgotten long ago. Hope, rage, fire, and the will to survive. Not just to exist, but to rise. To lead. To become the force that no one could ever ignore. Again, because they were human, and they never stopped fighting.